There's a way of losing sales that's almost tragic because you do it while trying to be helpful. You bring up the objections yourself, the ones the buyer never had, and in naming them, you hand the buyer a reason to hesitate they would never have found on their own. This is the ghost. You're haunted by objections that only exist in your head, and you speak them out loud into a buyer who's perfectly fine until you did. It sounds like this. Now, you might be thinking this is expensive. A lot of people worry they won't have time for this. You're probably wondering if this really works. I know what you might be thinking. Is she even the right person for this? Every one of those plants a seed. The buyer wasn't thinking it was expensive until you said the word expensive. They weren't worried about time until you introduced the worry. You did the objecting for them. Let me show you how this plays out. Picture a coach on a sales call. The client is warm, engaged, ready, and the coach, out of nervousness, starts pre-handling. So, I know 6 months feel like a big commitment, and you might be worried you won't have time with everything on your plate. And I get that the price is a stretch for some people. And in that moment, the client, who's not worried about the commitment, who had the time, who was fine with the price, now sits back and thinks, 6 months is a big commitment. Do I have the time? Is this a stretch? The coach installed 3 objections in a client who arrived with none. And now the client says the words that came from the coach's own mouth. Yeah, I think I need to consider the time commitment. So why do we do this? Why do we argue against ourselves? It's anxiety, and it's a specific kind. You're so afraid of the buyer's possible objections that you try to control them. If you name the objection first, you think you can diffuse it before it hurts. You're trying to get ahead of the rejection. But here's the deeper root. The ghost is you managing your own fear by projecting it onto the buyer. Those objections you're naming, they're usually your doubts. You think your price might be too high, so you say, you might think this is expensive. You're not reading their mind. You're broadcasting your own. And the buyer who trusted you takes your doubt and makes it theirs. When you voice an objection the buyer didn't have, you're really saying your own worst fear out loud and asking them to confirm it. And often they will, because you suggested it. So here's the swap. Say nothing about objections the buyer has not raised. Present your offer clean, and then handle only the real objections, the ones that actually come out of their mouth. Present the value, state the price, ask what they think, and then respond to what they actually say, not to the parade of doubts in your imagination. If they raise a real concern, wonderful. That's a real conversation and you can have it. But you never raise it for them. Now, the objection I hear, but shouldn't I address concerns proactively? Isn't it good sales to handle objections before they come up? There's a real distinction here. Addressing a concern the buyer has clearly signal that's good. If they frowned at the price, you can talk about the price. But manufacturing objections they haven't shown any sign of out of your own anxiety, that's not proactive. That's self sabotage. The rule is simple: respond to what's real, never invent what isn't. If they haven't shown you the objection, it doesn't exist yet, and your job is not to create it. Here's how you train this: take your usual pitch and hunt for every you might be thinking, every some people worry, every I know this might seem, cross them all out. Read what's left. It's cleaner and stronger. Then practice presenting and stopping without preloading a single doubt. Sit in the discomfort of not defending against things that haven't happened. And on your next call, when you feel that anxious urge to name their objection for them, catch it, name it. That's my ghost. And stay quiet on it. Let their real questions, if they have any, come from them. Stop answering questions no one asked. Present it clean and let the buyer bring their real thoughts, not the ones you handed them. The ghost is one of 5 ways people fumble the sale. The ghost is the one that brings up doubts the buyer never had. But there's also the one that apologizes before they ask. The one that keeps talking past the yes. So here's what to do next. Take the quiz. It's the first link in the description. It takes you 2 minutes and it tells you which of the 5 patterns is costing you the most. Then watch the video for your pattern. If it says the ghost, you just finished seeing this, so you're already ahead. But if it says one of the other videos, that video is on this channel waiting for you. Say it, then stop. I'll see you there.